Have you ever judged a decision based solely on the result without considering the process that led to it? If you have, you've fallen into the trap of outcome bias. This cognitive bias tricks us into believing that the quality of a decision can be solely determined by its outcome, without taking into account the elements that influenced the decision-making process. Let's imagine a scenario. You're in a casino, standing by the roulette table. You decide to bet all your money on a single number, and voila, you win. It's a thrilling moment, the rush of victory coursing through your veins. But let's step back for a moment. Was that decision a good one? After all, you won, right? But what about the risk you took, the odds you defied? Were they considered in your decision-making process? So the question is, was the decision to bet all your money a good one because you won? Or are we missing something here? It's easy to say yes, the decision was good because you ended up winning. But that's where outcome bias tricks us. Imagine you're at a roulette table. You decide to bet all your money on red. The wheel spins, the ball lands on red, and you double your money. It's easy to think in hindsight that you made a great decision, but let's step back for a moment and consider it. The decision to bet all your money was a risky one. The outcome was positive, but that doesn't make the decision good. You had a 50-50 chance of losing everything. Outcome bias is when we judge a decision based on its outcome, rather than the quality of the decision at the time it was made. It blinds us to the risks and potential downsides that were present when the decision was made. Outcome bias can mislead us into thinking that because the outcome was good, the decision was good too. But as we see, that's not always the case. So why does outcome bias matter? What's the big deal, you may ask? Well, the implications of outcome bias ripple through various facets of life, from the personal choices we make daily to the strategies businesses employ, and even how legal judgments are made. Let's consider personal decisions. Outcome bias can trick us into thinking that because something worked out well once, it'll always lead to a favorable result. This can lead us into repeating risky behaviors even when the odds are stacked against us. In the business world, outcome bias can lead to complacency and overconfidence. Companies might stick to strategies that were successful in the past without considering the changing market dynamics or other factors that could impact the outcome. When it comes to legal judgments, outcome bias can lead to unfair decisions, as the judgment can be influenced by the end result rather than the process or the intent behind an action. Outcome bias can cloud our judgment and lead us to repeat risky behaviors or decisions just because they worked out once before. So, how can we overcome this sneaky bias? Well, the first step is awareness. Acknowledge that outcome bias exists and it can cloud our judgment. From there, we can strive to separate the process from the result, analyze the decisions you made and the reasons behind them, independent of the outcome. Did you make a well-informed choice, or did you roll the dice and simply get lucky? Additionally, we need to recognize that luck and skill are two different factors. Just because you achieved a positive outcome doesn't necessarily mean you made a wise decision. It could be that fortune favored you this time. Conversely, a negative outcome doesn't automatically equate to a poor decision. In a nutshell, don't let the end justify the means. Instead, focus on making well-reasoned, informed decisions, regardless of the result. Remember, a good outcome doesn't always mean a good decision. So, next time you're celebrating a win, take a moment to reflect on the decision that got you there. Was it truly a good decision, or did you just get lucky?